Hi guys, how are you doing? I am going to shuffle my deck and see what we get, because good messages are always good. Wow, that's a bunch of cards that fell out. Hold on. Because times are tough. Times are tough. All right, deck, what you got? I am in harmony with all that surrounds me. I am at peace. I affirm only the good in life. Good, you know? It's that word that makes that sentiment at this moment to me as I read it. It makes that sentiment sound as though there's an element of toxic positivity there, which I don't endorse or support. My good old throat, it loves to argue as soon as I start saying anything important. Yeah, not a fan of toxic positivity, so that's not the way I interpret this message. I think another way of putting it would be to affirm that we are capable of observing all in life, and we're also capable of observing the feelings we have about those things in life. And rather than dwelling on whether they're good or bad, we have to just acknowledge that they're there and the events, and we need to acknowledge the feeling that we might have about that event, and perhaps think about why we might call something good or bad, and maybe take a minute to consider why someone else would call that same thing the opposite, maybe, or something completely different. Something that I've been observing for a number of years now is that that's what keeps people divided and unable, seemingly, and unwilling, seemingly, to agree on fundamental things, just super fundamental things. The reason we hold firm, I think, to a lot of beliefs is because we only know our own perspective on it. And obviously I'm not saying that this is an absolute truth of everybody, because that's not true. But we all have our things, don't we? That we understand in a certain way, and we feel comfortable with that understanding of it. And because we've gone through life behaving a certain way and doing certain things, when someone else or a group comes in and feels differently about this thing, it's easy to become irritated and annoyed and just like, leave me alone, this is the way I've always done it, stop bothering me, you know? That's the inclination we have, because our minds are busy saying, hey, feelings, other people feeling differently about this thing is somehow a threat to you. So become aggravated, become upset, become offended, become all these things, you know? And that's something to bear in mind. I don't know how many times it has come up in my own life where I just have to casually remind someone, you know, it's different. It's different for different people. Sometimes it's really hard. to relate with people who only see it their way, and you can try and try and try with all the logic and all your own personal experience and knowledge, and they will still refuse to see it differently. Appealing to reason does not work. It's frustrating because so many of us learn that if you go to school, if you learn to be reasonable, if you learn to think critically, if you learn to be cogent with your arguments when you are in a debate with someone. Debating does not mean fighting, by the way. If you follow these prescribed, rhetorical rules and stuff, then we can get along because we can persuade people and come to some sort of new accord, even if we don't flip, right over to what they're saying, right? Because that'll never happen. We can't all be the same. And that's okay. That's actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I don't know why it's always seen to be this bad thing, but it is. So, I guess I'm just being long-winded, but the only way to achieve harmony, as it says here, is to recognize that everything around us is neutral, and our feelings that we have about it are very, very, very powerful things because we are taught from birth that the feelings are what we pay attention to and not the events themselves and the neutrality of it. Even though things going on can cause a lot of pain and strife and struggle, granted. We're not here to be happy. That's not what Earth is about. I know that's why people would say there can't be a God. Look at this place we're living in. It's a hellhole, No, that's because that's not the point. I've said this before and heard it many times, and I'll say it again, that Alan Watts once said in one of his talks many years ago that the purpose of life is to be alive. That's all. Everything else that we consider a purpose is just what we're told, The purpose of life is being alive. It's not about being happy all the time. It's not about being sad all the time. It's not about that stuff. It's not about material possessions. It's not about your career. It's not about your family life. It's not about marital status. It's not about any of that. It's about being alive. And any kind of a deity out there, or a source, or whatever we want to call it, that's not what it's interested in. It's interested in our growth. And we cannot grow without struggle, and without learning, and without a lot of confusion. If you go through life and nothing is overly difficult, it's no wonder you stay the same, and you stay the same, and you stay the same. Can't grow. Egos don't want us to grow. Our egos want us to stay the same, and they want everything around us to stay the same so that we feel safe. That's what's going on there. That's all that is, and that's all that, just from all the messaging and all the programming that we get from day one. It's not our fault. It's just the way the world operates. But at this point, it's important to recognize, okay, that's the operating system. Got it. Okay. But we need to move beyond that. There's more to software. There's more to computers. if we're going to continue that analogy, even though I don't know enough about computers to really make a solid analogy out of that, but you know what I mean. We can acknowledge that that's the way the world operates, and that's how we operate in it, but that's not who we are, and that's not the substance necessarily of what we're here to do. And that's what we gotta keep reminding ourselves. It's what I've been reminding myself. It feels like every 5 minutes these days. Being like, feelings, those are feelings you're having, they're not facts, they're your feelings, remember, self. You know, like, please don't think I'm telling you, because I'm not. I'm having one of these, you know, kind of moments too. I have those a lot. And it's important that we all do, so that we all can experience the turmoil that we will, and actually ascend and learn from it, rather than be downtrodden and beaten by it and defeated, you know? So that should be good. It was nice to see ya. Thanks for watching if you're still here. I appreciate you very much. It means a lot when you watch videos, and when you like, and when you subscribe and leave comments and share things around, because more people can find it that way, and any and all engagement is what the algorithm likes. And isn't that why what we're all beholden to? The algorithm. So, in the name of that, there's a subscribe button there. There's a video you can watch down there. As I said before, it means a lot when you do those things. I greatly appreciate it. This close to monetization, like we're this close, like, so keep watching more videos. And I will see you soon.